Back to Big Mouth, and fancy seeing you here in Jew. A very welcome, my friends, and especially my enemies. Come in, sit down, no touching. I don't do the touching. And a very, very warm welcome here at Big Mouth to a very special video. The dceu Extra, a Suicide Squad special. We're going to be talking about David Ayer's movie, lots of facets about that. But we're also going to be talking about James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. Now, both directors of both movies have been doing a lot of chattering. David Ayer continues to respond to the fans, not just the fans who love him and love his Suicide Squad movie, but also the ones that hate them. Hate it. He's been brilliant, responding sarcastically to people who abuse him. Quite right too. He's a human being with feelings. He should be able to defend himself. Now, first of all, I wanted to talk about the Suicide Squad movie, the actual David Ayer Suicide Squad movie, then James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. Don't forget, smash the subscribe button, smash the like button, and follow me on Twitter, please, at MoviesTVMan. Now, this was a tweet. This was a comment on something that David Ayer put out. Now, this is from Jolly Yellow, a fan. The going argument seems to be that Harley is just there for eye candy and nothing else. When that is not true. She's not reduced to just sex appeal, and it seems people are going out of the way to act like she is. So we need to talk about this. But first, see, my memory's gone. I told you I wasn't very well. I was going to go back to bed. I decided to do this video because of this. This is what David Ayer said. No, I'm sorry. That is just dead wrong. Harley is so much more than that. So many younger girls connected to her. There is an innocence about her. People are getting it twisted. So let's look at Harley Quinn as a character. Part of her costume, not every costume she wears in the comics and the animated series, is where she wears the shawl. She's got the baseball. In the film, the baseball bat. Basically, in the film, she was highly sexualized. There's no question about that. And we can't get away from that. I said at the time I didn't think there was any need to do that. But she's not just eye candy. She's everything that Harley should be, as well as being sexualized, which maybe she shouldn't have been in the film. But ultimately, you take that away, and you do have Bruce Timm's animated version of Harley, and you have what she is in the graphic novels. So who is Harley Quinn? Harley Quinn is a young woman who starts off as a criminal psychologist in Arkham Asylum. She's then manipulated and seduced by the Joker, but she's not just seduced and conned. She's not under some spell. She literally is falling in love with him because basically pre-Joker, she's already damaged. That's the assumption we have to make. She's out there. She's been affected by all these lunatics she's working with and working for and trying to help. You see, imagine being a counsellor, a shrink, a psychiatrist in Arkham, a place, no matter how much you talk to these criminals, you cannot help them. Counselling will not help them. They are the lowest of the low. Their minds are broken. Their minds are gone. There's nothing you can do, right? Imagine being a young woman who thought she could change the world, that she could make people psychologically better, and then she realizes no matter what she does, it won't work. And this is Harley Quinn. Ultimately, at that moment, the Joker gives her a way out, and a very exciting way out. So they become a couple. She kills people. She's free to kill people now. She's free to create this alternate identity, Harley Quinn, right? And it's very clever. So she's an intelligent woman. She's still an independent woman, but she decides, basically normal human beings decide to hold in their urges, don't they, right? And just be ordinary, decent human beings. We mustn't do that. We mustn't say this. We mustn't do that. I'm not saying we all have the urges to kill people, right, and shag the Joker. My point is, Harley Quinn decides from meeting the Joker that she is going to give in to all her urges. She's not going to fight it anymore. That's the idea. That's why I think the Harley Quinn origin movie, a standalone movie like what Todd Phillips did with Joker, would be the perfect next step. She's a fascinating character and young people do love her. But it isn't just young people. Many, many people love Harley Quinn. She's a fascinating character. And the truth is that David Ayer got her spot on. David Ayer and Margot Robbie got her spot on. Now, the eye candy thing, the sexualization is unfortunate, but for me, it's not the end of the world. And in fact, it kind of was a great balance and a great mixture towards this character. Because she doesn't know she's acting sexually. There is an innocence there about her. She is an attractive woman, but there's so much more to Harley Quinn, as there is so much more to Margot Robbie. Now, when we look at Birds of Prey and the fantabulous emancipation of one Harley Quinn, we see a misunderstanding from Margot Robbie and Cathy Yan on who Harley Quinn actually is. In fact, they don't care who Harley Quinn is in the animated series. They don't care who she is in the graphic novels. And they certainly don't care or don't like what she was in David Ayer's movie. So they decide to create something else. She mustn't be sexed up. She mustn't be sexualized. She must be dressed in a way. She must be dressed down like all the women were in those films. Again, that kind of look doesn't bother me. What they look like isn't important, but they should at least look like they're iconic characters. Now, Harley gets away with it because she still looks like Harley. But when I look at the rest of the Birds of Prey, they're very desexualized, again, which is cool. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. But they just don't act or look like the Birds of Prey. It's a highly disappointing movie because this film is all about ideology rather than making a film and entertaining the public and embracing the brilliant origins of these characters. Harley Quinn was created by a man, aka Bruce Timm, one of the greatest geniuses DC have ever had the honour to work with, right? But he got Harley right. He didn't sexualise Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn is a very, very interesting character. And he did that. Bruce did that with his genius. And she captivated DC fans for years, and she has been. But I think when we talk about live action versions thus far, it is going to be David Ayer's vision of her that's better than Birds of Prey. Birds of Prey has an agenda which goes beyond being faithful to who Harley Quinn is. And there lies the problem. Excuse me, not very well, as I told you in the DCEU Daily, but we go on because I'm passionate and I want to talk about these things. David Ayer's Suicide Squad, despite him not editing the actual theatrical cut, and who knows if they did reshoots as well, it says a lot about the sequences and scenes that David and that cast shot, that despite the studio editing and them trying to change the film, the actual work that David and his cast did stood above the editing and the mess that Warner Brothers created. It was what Karen Sugihara was doing at the time, interfering with BVS, interfering with Suicide Squad, interfering with Justice League. And Justice League really was the rod that broke the camel's back for us, the fans, and that's where the Snyder Cut community and release the Snyder Cut has come from. We're not just fighting to release the Snyder Cut, we're fighting for David Ayer as well. So despite the interference, David Ayer's Suicide Squad stands out because of the work that him and his cast did. Despite the cuts, maybe reshoots, I don't know. So, in fact, it's still a really, really good film. And imagine how good his vision for Suicide Squad is. Just imagine what his cut looks like. So absolutely amazing. So I really like that film. And so this argument that he sexualized Harley, it's there. I can understand why people may be a little bit triggered by it, but it doesn't hurt the interpretation of the character, and it certainly doesn't hurt the film. The moment in the bar when she's psychologically analysing her team members is amazing. We all are! You know, what she said, we've all got to deal with our shit. We all are. We're all crazy. We're all, we all hurt people. We're all bad people. We've just got to own your shit, or we've got to own it, or whatever she says, right? That is a brilliant moment. And that's all about the acting. It's not about the editing. Now, editing is an important tool of any filmmaking, whether you're talking about a short film on YouTube, a TV show or a movie. You can destroy a film or make it better by editing. Star Wars A New Hope is a brilliant film because of the editing, because George is very good at working with cuts, right? And that's why that film's so good, and you can see that. But he's in charge of the editing, right? The problem is with the Suicide Squad theatrical cut, David isn't in charge of the vision and what the audience are actually going to see in terms of editing. And he's admitted that. He said it's not his film. This film was amazing. Now, I've questioned before why Suicide Squad was the third movie after BVS. I thought this was poorly placed, that we should definitely have a Suicide Squad universe within a DC cinematic universe, but it was too early. There were other stories to tell. It was too early for a team-up. And I believe the Suicide Squad characters actually should have had individual movies first, later down the line, and then do Suicide Squad. Then do Suicide Squad versus the Justice League and things like that. You know, some very exciting things can happen, but they rushed. And I just still don't understand what the rush was to make a Suicide Squad movie. And that is part of the problem here. So I really like David Ayer. I like his Suicide Squad movie, and I really want to see his cut. Now, in terms of James Gunn's Suicide Squad, he's using a lot of David's cast. We already know that. Margot Robbie isn't just back as Harley in a cameo. She's back front and centre. James has already said this. We have rumours of King Shark, for Christ's sake. How exciting is that? James Gunn is a very talented creative. He's a very good writer-director. It'll be very interesting how his vision for Suicide Squad differs to David Ayer's. Obviously, they're going to have different visions. Obviously, the studio has told him what they want, and he hasn't come in to be told what to do and to have his vision interfered with. James Gunn is going to do his thing, or James Gunn wouldn't be there. That's for sure. I'm looking forward to a very interesting, fun, funny, dramatic, compelling, heartbreaking movie. I'm expecting a lot from James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. Now, don't forget, James Gunn's very good at CG and VFX and all of that, but he's very good at telling a story. So it's going to be interesting what he does here. I think we already know it's a Dirty Dozen type movie. He is a fan of the Dirty Dozen movies. He is a fan of Suicide Squad, the graphic novels. He's obsessed with them. This is the film he wanted to do. But what interests me the most is that he could, in the future, be in charge of the narrative of Harley Quinn if this goes well. And I think someone does have to take hold of Harley and develop her for her movies because she's so important for the whole franchise. And one final thing about Harley Quinn, I'm going to say, she's not a feminist icon. You can put that with Wonder Woman and other characters, but almost certainly everything from her core creation points to her not being a feminist. And I think this is very interesting how Margot Robbie and Kathy Yan saw her as a feminist character, making feminist points. She's not. Harley is just a young woman who just wants to kill people and be with the Joker. That's who Harley is. Harley is a psychopath. Harley is a sociopath. And the last thing she's got on her mind is inspiring other young women. Not all female characters have to do that. But as I say, because of the pandemic and because of what's going on and because of the money Hollywood are losing, they're going to have to make films that fans want to see. And as I said in today's DCEU Daily, fan entitlement is right. Because we're the Dons, we're in charge, and without our Wonga, Hollywood, you can't do nothing. Comment down below. Like, share and subscribe. I'll be back tomorrow with the DCEU Daily. See you again soon.